Our daughter Navy was born 4 months early at just 1 pound, 6 ounces. Her twin brother Jackson was born first. He lived less than 4 hours. But from time to time, Navy likes to come here with us to think about Jackson and remember. About the end of my 22nd week, it was Halloween, and I felt my water break. My husband was just getting home from work, and I was getting my boys ready for Halloween and getting them in their costumes, and I said, I'll just go up to the hospital and get checked out, and I'll be back in maybe an hour or so. So I went up to the hospital, and they checked me out, and they said, we've got bad news that, yeah, you did have a rupture, and you're probably going to deliver soon. When we got to the hospital in Salt Lake City, we thought that we would be staying there 6, 7 weeks, maybe a few months, in order to keep the twins in and help them grow and not deliver early. But I only made it 4 days, and it was Tuesday, November 4th, at about 5 o'clock in the morning. I was in serious active labor, and when the twins were born at 6:15 in the morning, Jackson was born first. They took him right to the NICU, and then Navy came about a minute later.
And got to hold Jackson's hand shortly after he was born, and he squeezed my finger, made a face, and got to spend a little time with him. And then to then have Navy right on his heels, you know, fighting for all she was worth. And it was a tough time.
The first 3 or 4 weeks, it was up and down many times during the day. So we didn't know from day to day if she was going to make it.
Well, they were amazed that Navy was surviving and doing as well as she was.
But it was 10 weeks when I first held her, and I had to walk past the healthy nursery every day to get to the NICU. And I would see parents holding their babies and having balloons and passing the babies around to family and friends and grandparents, and I just wanted so bad to hold her. And so about the 10-week point, I couldn't take it. One day I just walked in and I said, I have to hold her. I don't care how hard it is and all the tubes that we have to hold up, I just have to hold her. So my nurse said, you know what, let's do it. Give Navy to me, and well, I'll stand behind you and hold the tubes. And I just rocked her in the rocking chair, and that was probably the best day that we had. The day we brought Navy home was the greatest. At that point, we weren't afraid of her anymore, even though she had oxygen and monitors. We just wanted her home so bad. And for months, we kept telling our boys, you have a sister, and they didn't really believe us, because we'd go to the hospital and look at this baby for a few minutes and come home, and they didn't believe us that they had a sister. We were really, really excited.
1, 2, 3. Navy is a bundle of energy. That little girl is the little girl that everyone groups around at school. You know, she'll make sure everybody's included.
She loves reading, and she loves to read out loud to herself. I read to her when she was a little baby, but as soon as she could sit up and turn the pages of a book, that's all she did. She is always happy. There really is nothing that ever gets her down. Even if she's hurt, she doesn't cry, she laughs, and she's just so happy all the time, and she sees the best in everything and everyone. We love to camp. Here's a little girl that just lives for the same things her brothers live for, and that's, you know, getting outside, playing in the dirt, climbing trees. Prematurity is an enormous problem in our country, and I was surprised to learn that almost 500,000 babies every year in this country are born premature. Even though I did everything right, I took my vitamins, I ate healthy, and I did the things that my doctor asked me to do, this still happened to me. And I want mothers to know that you can do all those things, and yes, these things still happen. And that's why the March of Dimes is working so hard to find out why these things are happening, and also to find out what we can do about it. So much was happening in the NICU, and I was afraid that I would forget something, so I decided to keep a journal, and I would like to read my first entry from this journal. November 21st, 1997. Dear Navy, I am starting this journal so you will be able to read it someday and know all that you have gone through. There are so many people who love you and who are praying for you to grow and come home. Sometimes I'm afraid to hope that you will make it, but you are so strong and such a fighter. I guess I'd better tell you all about your journey to this point so you can remember your brother and all he did to help you here. Love, Mom.
Visiting Jackson's grave is actually a good bonding time for our family.
Navy loves to go to the cemetery. It's not a sad time for her. It's a way that she can see Jackson's grave and think about how special he was and how he was her little escort here. I want families out there to know that there are people working hard in the March of Dimes to find out why babies are being born premature.
We want them to take one thing from it. We want them to have hope.
Hope for their own children and for their grandchildren and for all the children in the future.